Since earlier this summer, I've been working on a project about the local Chillicothe paper mill, and I've made videos about it before, so I'm not going to rehash everything. If you haven't seen those videos, I'll put a card up at the top of the screen so you can check those out, get further context into the project, but it's all centering around the paper mill that was just shut down here in Chillicothe, Ohio, something that's been in operation for over 100 years, and it's affecting the community at a very large scale. So I wanted to get in the paper mill and try to make some sort of record of this place while it's still in operation before it all shuts down. I'm done shooting everything. I've spent my time at the mill. It is shut down at the moment. So right now I'm in the process of basically just finalizing the selection of photos that are going to be shared and printed, and then it's going to be time to print. And one of the things that every week on the Wednesday night live streams, we're always opening up mail from the P.O. Box. Oftentimes, it's viewers that watch this channel that are making their very first zine or photo book. And it's really encouraging and inspiring for me to see more people doing that kind of thing. So while I'm at this stage of the project in terms of making decisions on printing and how it's going to be printed and things like that, I wanted to just share my insight into the decisions I'm making right now in hopes that that can lead to maybe you making more informed decisions if you're working on your own zine or photo book. And actually, that question in itself, zine or photo book, that's a really important question and something to think about when it comes to printing your work and what direction you want to go. I wanted to share what direction I'm going with this project and why. My last book that I did, Surveyor, that was a hardcover, linen-wrapped book, really well-made, very expensive production to make a book like that happen, and so the cost of that book is also going to reflect that. With something like this, I really wanted to think about my target audience, I guess, and that's what I want you to keep in mind if you're working on something. Think about the people that you're wanting to get this work in front of and who you're wanting it to be accessible to. For photographers and artists, people who buy art books, photo books, spending $50, $40, or more than that on one individual book, it's not that uncommon in that world, but the people that I really made these photos for is specifically the community. I'm sure other photographers that have no, connection to Chillicothe, Ohio, or the paper mill, I'm sure there will be photographers who are interested in picking up a copy, but I really wanted to make something that was as accessible as I can, specifically for the local community. So thankfully we have a print shop in Chillicothe, Star City Printing, that I'm going to be working with for this publication, and we're going to be going with more of a magazine or zine style format. And actually the terminology in itself is something I've thought about when we're talking about thinking about your target audience. If I put out a post saying, hey, to all of my local Chillicothe friends here, I've made this zine here for the paper mill. A lot of people are probably not going to understand right away what a zine is. They'll probably not know how to pronounce it if they only see it online. It's just one of those terms that if you're in the know, you know about it. So magazine, zine, photo book, publication, whatever you want to call it, it's going to be something much more affordable, more of a zine style, staple bound book. Again, just to make something where the price can be as low as possible and hopefully also still be able to raise some money, because portions from each sale are going to go to the Mill Relief Fund, which is just set up in town where anyone who was affected by the mill shutting down, anyone who lost their job, they're able to access that relief fund, which I think is going to be especially helpful for the holiday season coming up. So going to try to keep the cost down, but hopefully still be able to raise a decent amount of money to donate. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to be working with a local print shop. As a matter of fact, they also have prints that they can offer in-house that are printed on not the same paper I've been printing on from the paper mill, but actual proper paper to make nice big prints with, and it was all manufactured here in Chillicothe. So a lot of good opportunity to just kind of tie it all together using paper manufactured here to share the work. I'm excited about that. And I'm excited about going with a zine and more accessible format as well, not only for that reason, but also just trying to change it up a little bit from how I would normally share the work. And I'm going to be bringing in one of my really good friends, Mike Watson, also known as Brainbuster. I've been good friends with Mike for probably a decade at this point, but I've always just been such a fan of not only his photography, but just his self-publishing efforts. He's put out so many different zines and books over the years. Most recently, he designed 72 by Ryan Loco, another friend of ours, and I was just blown away by how he put everything together. I'm just excited to collaborate with a friend and also just get his eyes and expertise in this world, because this work isn't isn't necessarily about the individual photos, but it's more, the entire paper mill together. And I really want to build that atmosphere a little bit more and really get the feel of everything throughout the pages, not necessarily just, a blank white page with a single image right in the center. I want to really fill this zine out and actually make something that has a little bit more of a feeling to it in terms of the atmosphere and texture of the mill. And I don't know what that looks like yet, but that's something that Mike and I are going to try to make happen. So I've always been a big fan of like do it yourself, whatever it is, start to finish, take care of the entire process and know everything and know all of the ins and outs. And I have done that. But with Surveyor, I hired a designer and that worked out beautifully. I was really happy with Darren's work and everything she did with that book. And so now I'm excited to kind of continue that with Mike and continue to mix it up a little bit and just try some new things with this one. Now, the release timeline and plans for all of this, we're shooting for right before the holidays, maybe right at the beginning of the holiday season, right at the end of November. That's what we're shooting for. We're hoping we can make that happen not only with the design and getting everything finalized, but also the entire, printing, which is another nice feature or nice aspect of this going with a zine route. The turnaround time, not having to wait months and months for something like this, being able to make something more affordable and more immediately available. That's really the goal with this one. Now, we were hopeful that we could get a show at the Pump House Art Gallery in Chillicothe, but they are booked out for the next 2 years, so there is no room for me in that place. So we've been looking around at different options, and actually the History Store in Chillicothe. We're talking about doing sort of a book release, book signing event there at the History Store downtown in Chillicothe. So as that gets, all the details ironed out, I'll be sure to share information here on the channel, as well as, where to buy the zine when it's out, all of the information, any other events that we do. I'll be sure to share it here as well as in an update newsletter. That's the best way to stay up to date and so you don't miss it when it does go live. You can sign up for updates on my newsletter at my website, mattdayphoto.com. And I made that website with the sponsor of this video, Squarespace. Everything I've needed from my website as a photographer has been done with Squarespace for over 10 years because it really is the best all-in-one place to do it. When I first built the site, I was using it for wedding photography, portrait photography, just needing a place where clients could reach out and schedule appointments or book their wedding day. It's super easy to choose a template and start building a gallery, just dragging and dropping your photos, giving them a place to live outside of just an algorithm. And it's so flexible, I use that same website today for self-publishing. So all of my zines and photo books, prints, anything I want to sell, I can do it directly through my online store with Squarespace. They're always adding new features, and if you ever need help with anything, they have 24/7 award-winning customer service. So I highly encourage you check it out and try it out for yourself at squarespace.com. But when you're ready to launch your site, go to squarespace.com/MattDay. Use the code MattDay at checkout, and that'll save you 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. So thank you again to Squarespace for sponsoring this video and supporting this channel. I appreciate y'all joining me for this one. I appreciate all of the interest and just kind feedback I've gotten on this project since I started working on it. I've continued to get emails and comments about it, so I really appreciate all of the support, and I hope this was helpful for you. If you're working on something of your own, maybe these are some things that you can think about as you kind of make those decisions. But we can keep the conversation going in the comments down below if you have any further questions. But that's it for today. So thank you all for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon.